Bada bing bam boom. Is it recording?
We are recording. You know, look at the raw footage of most of our ChrisCross content.
Uh-huh.
Most of it. Because I've gone back in our hard drive.
Uh-huh.
And it always starts off almost with the same soundbite. You know what that is? It's you. Yo, are we recording?
Really?
Is it on? Are we recording? Are we live? Yeah.
I always say that.
90-something% of the time.
You gotta make sure.
Yeah,
you gotta make
you
sure.
say some dumb shit.
But yeah.
Welcome to the attic.
Welcome, man.
I'm not only am I saying it to you, and not only are you saying it to me, but we're saying it to them.
Saying it finally to the microphone, right?
Yeah.
Well, we said we weren't gonna do an intro, but
This is an intro.
Let's do a little intro. Why don't you tell them who we are and what we do?
This is ChrisCrossMedia, not to be mistaken for the name of this podcast, which is The Attic.
The Attic, yes, sir.
My name is Chris.
And I'm Christian.
And
you've just been ChrisCrossed. And this is it. That's it. We're done.
And this is the second, I wouldn't say attempt, but this is the second version of the evolution of a podcast for us, which is interesting. And this is something that we've talked about for quite some time. We wanted to do some form of podcasting, but it was always trying to figure out what it could be, how it can feel organic to you and I, and what made the most sense in terms of what we want this channel to be moving forward. I think we figured out that recipe.
Yeah, I think it really clicked in. We were here just chilling as we do, watching our old stuff as we do. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, Chris, just pop in the podcasts, because I've been wanting to do it too.
Which, by the way, there's 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, so go back and watch them. I don't know if they're up, but
no, they're up. Yeah,
they're up. But
everything's up.
It was gold.
Yeah.
There was nights where I had to go home and it was we just stayed up here listening to the podcast, and we're like, man, if we sound this good that long ago,
Which, okay, let's put a timestamp on it. That was 2016.
Jeez.
And we did that, I want to say, from September to October, 4 episodes. Yeah. If I'm remembering correctly, there's only 4. But they're great. And then this is something that you and I have talked about doing for some time. And we have so many ideas of what we want this channel to be. And this channel, the history of it, which started back in 2009?
Well, man, we can even go a little. Well, yeah, 2009. But I was gonna say it's a perfect segue to
Well, let me get there in a second.
Okay.
Because I do want to talk about what the attic is, right? Before we just jump into everything, I think it's a proper way to set this thing up. So we call it the attic for several different reasons.
Right.
One, this channel has so many different ideas. We've done so many different things. And with us relaunching it last year, a soft relaunch, a lot of these ideas were, all over the place. We thought we need to somehow come up with a package so that there's some sort of unification. So we were doing scrapped and these kind of video essays and everything that makes ChrisCross, the mailbags, us talking about different things, movie reviews, giveaways, so on and so forth.
You name it.
While that's a lot of stuff, what's one thing that we can do that just kind of encapsulates everything? And we're like, a podcast. And the thing, and that's what makes it fun. We have all these ideas. When you have clutter in your house, where do you put it?
Put it in the attic.
You put it in the attic.
I mean, I never had an attic until now, But,
yeah, I was too scared to go in my attic.
I never had an attic, but when we went and filmed and created everything we created,
yeah,
that was the first time I could say that I was in an attic. So
that's the second meaning, right? So we started on YouTube in 2008 with a channel called Attic Productions.
Correct. Which I wonder how many people
know about that.
There's got to be at least one person that's been subscribed through this entire time.
I'm sure.
They got to know.
Yeah. But we have maybe one day we'll do a watch through and see some of the old stuff, which I do have.
Dude, I still get comments from like IRL friends that like just loved the stuff from back then, and
Yeah.
I mean we all love the stuff from back then, but like you and I have talked about, this is a whole new ChrisCross. It's ChrisCrossMedia evolved, and you can call it a soft boot, soft relaunch or whatever, but I still, with everything you've been doing, you've been consistent about it. We've been giving the subscribers some content, so I think
little pieces.
This
alive,
podcast is something that I feel like people are gonna get a lot out of. It's not just gonna be something that we brush off or we're just like uploading to upload. I think this is gonna be really successful and useful.
Yes.
And for the viewers, the listeners, and they're gonna get to evolve with the podcast.
When they're going to be part of the conversation, I think that's why we felt the need to bring this back, is because we had all these ideas, and like you were saying, we sit on this couch, and you and I will just have conversations starting at X hour, and hours later we keep going and going, and we're like, you know what? We need to put a microphone to it. Sometimes great conversations. Sometimes it's absurdity, but you know what? I think it's going to be more fun now that we're inviting more people on the couch with us to be a part of these conversations, which brings us to the third reason why it's called ATTICC, because as you can see, there's an additional C at the end of our ATTICC. One, it's just unique branding, I guess, for us, but ATTICC, on top of us throwing all these ideas up into the attic, on top of us having a history where our original channel was called ATTICC Productions, it also stands for, and I'll give you the opportunity to reveal that.
Yes. So ATTICC, actually, as Chris says, it actually means something, and it's all the things involving ChrisCross.
Yeah.
So that was just the name that we were just chilling here as we do, not recording content as we do, and
but coming up with great ideas.
Yeah, but coming up with great ideas, guys. If you guys could just read the stuff we've written. Heard the songs we've sang, we would be billionaires right now. But one of them that we finally stuck with is ATTICC. Yeah. And, we were just chilling here and came up with the name, and it was perfect. I love, like, that feeling. And it goes back to, like, when we were, like, growing up and we first started out, like, that feeling that when you had an idea and you had your version of it, I had my version of it, but then like when we talked and we collaborated and we chiseled out the iron, it's just, you knew when that idea was gold.
Yeah.
And when we both agreed on ATTICC, it was like, yes,
boom.
We got it. Let's start recording right now.
Well, that's the beauty of this channel, and I think that's where the name ChrisCross came from. Not only we're both Chris and Christian, both have the same name essentially. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. The ChrisCross, we always are crisscrossing ideas, and I think we're both very. I don't want to speak myself this way, but like, you are a very creative, very very entertaining person, and we both have great ideas, and I think we are able and are capable of doing great things on our own. But when we knock our heads together in conversations like you're hearing now, where we're just kind of spitballing, unscripted, just moving our mouths, we are able to really fine-tune certain ideas. And that's the podcast. It's just our minds emptying all of our thoughts and talking with all of you. And while we don't have the luxury of knowing what all of you are thinking and responding to you, I highly implore you to message us in the comments and let us know what you think, and be a part of the conversation with us. We want to make these, I think, as interactive as we can moving forward.
Right. And I would say also to anyone out there listening is that this is probably like the most quote unquote scripted thing. Like, this isn't scripted. None of this is written. No one's reading off of anything.
We gotta set it up a little bit.
Yeah, but we gotta set it up. At the end of the day, these are gonna be conversations. Two best friends talking, chopping it up. going over what's going on with our lives and things in the world, whatever, and bringing you guys along in the conversation. And I'm excited to do that because it's, I think just how you mentioned, we both come together, and I think that's one main theme, in the past 10 years, is that I think we both learned not only about like our relationship, but maybe relationships like in our real world and our business professional lives, that you kind of need to collaborate, and it takes a team to make things happen.
Yeah.
So maybe there's people out there in the world that need to hear that. There's a lot of selfish people out there that think they can do it themselves, and maybe them just listening to us, talk about our experiences, we can help change some lives and some views.
Because we're so old, Christian.
My knees hurt, man.
Speaking of pain and getting old.
No, we're young, bro. We're young.
We are young. But we are older than we were yesterday.
Right.
And I will say, this is something that I don't know if we've talked about. Maybe I mentioned it somewhere. But I think my first 30-ish year old. We're both 32.
Yes.
You just turned 32.
Don't age me, man.
And I had some sciatic pain for the first time during Christmas break.
Yeah.
And my God, the holiday break, I should say. And oh my God, it was the worst pain. I've had surgeries in the past. I've banged myself up. Ironically, we were at the screening of Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Did I tell you how I kind of pinpointed how I got the pain? So we had a picture.
We never uploaded those, do we?
The picture? Maybe we'll throw it up here.
No, I think I have them, but I never upload stuff like that. That's personal stuff.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah, but whew.
But so I will say we went to the DreamWorks studio. We saw a pre-screening of Puss in Boots.
Which, thank you for inviting me again. That was awesome. And
there's a statue there of the Kung Fu Panda. So,
I got a story about that.
I'm there. It's cold out. I didn't warm up. I didn't stretch. I'm wearing jeans. And I'm like, let's take a picture next to the statue and do the same high kick pose that Poe is doing. We take the photo, and as I'm holding my leg, waiting for the picture to be snapped, I felt that rip. And I was like, that's interesting.
That didn't...
That's what 30 feels like. And so I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, a little snap of pain. And then the next day I was fine. The day after that, I started feeling it. I'm like, oh, it feels like a muscle tear, like you have like a hard workout or something. Dude, the day after that, I was done for a good 2, almost 3 weeks. I couldn't move. I couldn't even I'm standing straight. I could barely slightly bend to wash my hands. It was that bad. It was awful.
I couldn't believe that you were that hurt, bro. Honestly, I was like, this dude, nah, there's no way. But
and you and I, we're in the gym. We're flexible, but it was a bad recipe of everything.
Knock on wood, I've never felt pain like that, and we'll get there. I'll probably get it eventually, but that's kind of like why.
Well, you said you never felt pain like that. You never felt pain seeing me feel pain, or
no. Like I've never, I've broken I've broken bones.
Oh, you never felt pain like I felt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like
okay.
Pain, like back pain, like that, because I know some people that went through that, like horrible back pain, and seeing them in pretty much in a wheelchair, like you couldn't even walk. So, I wish that on nobody. And you were out for quite some time, but to touch on the topic of and maybe we can segue into this because this is news and we've talked about this.
Okay.
But did I ever tell you they used to call me Kung Fu Panda? Did I ever tell you that?
No. Wait, who's they?
Okay,
so old friends or
no. So my first job, as many people know, maybe, was at BK.
Yeah.
You know how much love we have for BK.
That's our place.
One day we're gonna have ChrisCrossMedia BK Kids Meal Toys. It's gonna happen. All right, one day.
Go on.
But yeah, so I'm still big. I'm a big boy, but I was 16, and my manager You know, I was just a cashier. He used to call me Kung Fu Panda. That's what they call me. They call me Little Panda eventually. It went from, hey Kung Fu Panda. You know? But Kung Fu must have been too hard to say, so they're just like, hey, Little Panda. Yeah, so like I was Little Panda, and I never had watched any of the Kung Fu Panda movies. I think recently I saw the first one.
It's great, yeah.
Maybe. And I think it was like when we went to Universal, we saw like a little like short, right? Like
we did. Yeah.
So like other than those two things, I think that's the only thing I've ever seen from them.
You know, ironically, I've only seen the first one too, which I thought was great. I loved the score. The score was fantastic in that movie. It was really surprising to me. It was like an instant classic. I have no excuse for not seeing. I want to say there's 3.
Yeah, there has to be like 3, and
there's
I
3.
think they're working on 4. I mean, Jack Black, right? He's the one that does Poe.
Yeah.
You know, like.
And Jackie Chan's in it, and Angelina Jolie, and I think Dustin Hoffman's in it. Like, there's it's a big cast.
I feel like Jack Black is severely underrated.
I mean, yes, but he does get like universal love when he does pop in.
Like, I just feel like he's just that guy. He's so good.
Yeah, he is.
But he comes under the radar and just kills you. Like, you know, like he killed it on YouTube. I mean, he's been in the game for so long, and he's just so lovable, and you know.
I remember in freshman year high school, which was what 2006. I want to say 2006. I believe that was the year he hosted the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Dude, he killed it. He was like one of the best. I would watch that every single year. I always looked forward to it. And I remember him being like the best. And I remember very specifically, I apologize to everybody's ears, but he had a commercial promoting it, which I'm going to assume, knowing Jack Black, he came up with, wrote himself. But maybe you remember this, but it was like Jack, he's a bringing up the jam. On Nickelodeon.
Damn, that does ring a bell.
Kids' Choice 2006 on April Fool's Day. I never forget that.
Keep going. Damn. See, I told you guys. I'm telling you guys, we have hits. We just haven't released them yet.
Actually, you know, I just saw a clip with him because Jack Black, love is everywhere. Mario movie came out not too long ago.
We gotta talk about that.
We have to talk about Mario. But something that Jack Black said, or he was on some interview, and they're like, "Oh, we heard that you write a song for every movie that you've ever been in," and he was singing for Jumanji when he was doing Jumanji, and The Rock and Kevin Hart were there. I remember he was on SNL. He sang a song for King Kong when he was in the original, the Peter Jackson King Kong movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, he sang in Nacho Libre, Tenacious D, obviously, School of Rock.
Underrated, man.
All these underrated sleeper hits. Nacho Libre, I quote almost all the time.
Oh my god! If you guys have not watched Nacho Libre, dude, do yourself a favor.
It's my mother's machete. I hate that you're stupid orphans.
Another, you know, I'm thinking Jack Black. I'm thinking Will Ferrell. One of my favorite scenes from them, and you know, thinking of Nacho Libre. Have you seen Casa de mi Padre with Will Ferrell?
Yeah. No. I have not seen it, but I know we talked about this.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's a scene with a white tiger in there, bro. I'm not even lying. I know you probably think I'm lying, but I'm not. When you watch Casa de mi Padre,
a white tiger,
bro. I kid you not.
Wait, does this have
I'll tell you, things just tie in sometimes, you know, and our conversation just leads to that. But there's a scene in that movie, and when you see it, you're gonna laugh.
Okay.
But man, sorry to cut you off. You were talking about Jack,
you're good.
You were talking about Jack Black, and
we were talking about Jack Black. Oh, so I want to ask you your opinion, and I'll even open up to everybody listening. The Peaches song that's in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Do you think, like the process of that, do you think the producers came to Jack and they're like, look, we want you to write a song? Or do you think they wrote a song for him and they said, we want you to sing this? Or do you think that he was just like in the booth kind of screwing around, doing his Jack Black thing, sang that off the cuff, and they're like, that needs to be in the movie.
Yes.
Record it. Let's get a master of it, and then we'll make a whole scene around it.
That's how I like to picture it.
Because that was like what 90. I'm spouting.
Yeah, you're just
here,
throwing numbers.
But most of the dialogue and the riffing that Robin Williams did in Aladdin for the genie was all improvised. They just put him in a room, microphone, and he would just talk. And there's like hours of audio. Even like have you seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
No.
Okay, I have a lot of love for Robin Williams. Mrs. Doubtfire, we need to watch that because that's one of my favorite comedies of all time. But on the DVD, there's like 3 separate versions of the movie, or maybe not the full movie, but there's scenes completely done differently because he was improvising most of those scenes. There was like, kind of a very loose script that he would use, but he was just go off.
So like there was like a theatrical release, and then
yes,
but then there was like
home release, and they said like they had so much for every scene that like they didn't know what to use because almost all of it was brilliant.
Damn.
And there's stuff in there like we'll come back to Jack Black in the Mario question. I know we're segueing so much, but like you're watching it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's such a brilliant line that it had to have been a team of comedic writers to come up with it. And then you watch like the behind the scenes and it was just Robin being Robin, like absolute comedic genius. You don't know how his brain worked.
Yeah, some people just got it,
Yeah.
And we talk about that too. Like there's certain people that you've interacted with and you're like,
yeah,
dude, he's got it.
Yeah.
And then there's people that are like, dude, you can keep trying,
but you don't.
You can keep trying, bro.
And I know people like that.
You can keep trying, bro, but you just don't got it. And like, it sucks because there's some really talented people out there, but it's just like, dude, you just don't got it. I'm
gonna bring it back. Ready? Full circle. Okay. So our boy Saul Goodman, Bob Odenkirk. I listened to the audio of his book that he came out with not long ago, and he was saying that there's 2 people that he's met his entire life, because first off, Bob Odenkirk, incredible entertainer, actor, writer, director, producer. Like listening to his story, I had no idea the backstory of his life.
He's from Illinois too, right?
He's from Illinois, yeah.
Dang, shout out.
Big time Illinois.
City boys!
But he says there's only 2 people that he's known in his life that just had it. Like, you're in a room with them, and like they steal the show, they have the energy. Even when they bomb, they're better than most. Can you guess who those 2 were?
In his life?
In his life. That he's met, worked with, interacted, just observed. 2 people. And I could not agree more.
Dang. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of his work, but...
First off, Bob Odenkirk has worked on so many things you wouldn't even know. He was a writer on SNL. He was working on this show and that show and this movie, like behind the scenes, not even in front of the camera. He was a writer for most of his life. He still is.
Some people that just got it. I mean, I'm just going based off like his line of work. I feel like Bryan Cranston just has to be one of the guys that just got it.
I've also read Bryan's book. He's an incredible person, but I'm thinking more towards the line of comedy or just like energy, just like quick thinking.
So you're gonna have to tell me, bro.
Okay, one's Jack Black.
Really?
Yeah, one's Jack Black.
Oh wow.
You're gonna. There's no way you don't know the other one though.
Comedian?
Huh?
Dave Chappelle?
Chris Farley.
Oh my God! Yeah. How did I not guess?
He said Chris had a.
Oh man.
Chris, it was like a demon took over his body, and he would just go.
God,
he just had
Chris
it.
Farley, man.
Yeah.
I wish he was still around. Like that's one guy that like, man, like when we die, I gotta go meet that dude. What do you think? What do you think? You think he's up top or down below?
He was a good soul. I think he's in a good place.
He's up top.
Wherever he is.
He's chilling with God right now. Just
making him.
Just cracking up jokes, right? Some people say that, like some people say, like, that's why he had to go because God
they're a little bored up there.
God needed some comedy, so yeah, I respect that, and he is in my favorite movie of all time. So, Beverly Hills Ninja. But to answer your original question about Jack Black, bro, I think he just came up with that song.
Yeah.
I think he was just in the booth, or he was just in the booth, just came up, just repeating the song, and people just picked it up because I think like you're saying, just to throw numbers out there, 9 out of 10 times, a lot of the amazing scenes that happen in movies and in shows or anything like that is just people just doing random stuff. It's just you living in the character and doing it. And I've seen that happen to me sometimes. And it goes same thing with YouTube. It's like the stuff that you don't think it's gonna do well does well. I think it's kind of like that. Yeah. It's just the stuff that you just throw out into the world. Yeah. And it's the stuff that catches fire and it's funny and you want more of. So yeah, I mean,
some of our largest videos, which we've talked about in the past, but some of our largest videos on this channel were things that we just put together with no thought in mind and end up blowing up. And then there's videos that we put way too much thought into and they whimper and you're like, oh, that doesn't...
It hurts, right?
But like, some of the greatest scenes of all time. The one that, people have talked about up and down, but you've seen the original... well, yeah, you've seen it because we saw it in theaters together. The first Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
We saw a screening of that. There's a scene where he's in Cairo, and the guy comes out, the big swordsman, and he's going, he's flipping his sword around. Looks very intimidating. He's wearing all black, and Indy's standing there, and the original scene, there was a whole choreographed fight that was supposed to take place. He was supposed to take his whip out. They're going to go back and forth, huge tumble, blah, blah, blah. And the cast and crew, specifically Harrison, they all had some sort of stomach flu, fecal bad infection. Do you know about this story?
No.
Oh, everybody got it except for Steven Spielberg because he packed his lunch. He's like, I'm going to go to, Egypt or Cairo. I'm going to bring food from home. Man. Everyone got sick except for the director. And Harrison's like, I can't do this fight. So he's like, he's going to flip his sword around. I'm just going to shoot him and look away. And that's the scene. And it's so iconic now. People that think like, oh, they must have been in some boardroom with storyboards and screenwriters to come up with that. It's like, no, that's the stuff that just kind of comes up. And it wasn't even improvised. Like, it was improvised, but like, poor Harrison, he's like, I'm going to throw up my guts. Yeah. This is all I can give you. And then that ends up working, and it's better than what was on the paper. A lot of times, those things just happen.
It's just an artist being an artist, Yeah. It's someone that knows what they're doing. And so many. I mean, one that comes to my mind was, because we just recently watched The Offer.
Yeah.
And finding out, like, all the little things find out in that. And I'm sure some of it is embellished, and some of it could be a little stretch from the truth, but one that wasn't, that I really liked. Yes.
Just say what is The Offer really quick.
Oh, what The Offer is?
Yeah, just so people know.
Just so people don't know, it's essentially a series, a mini series
on Paramount Plus.
On Paramount Plus about the making of The Godfather and what led up to the making of The Godfather. From the director to the producers to the executives, and how the mafia was involved with making The Godfather and everything that, like, up until the filming of it and the release of it. It's amazing. If you're a fan of The Godfather, which you should be, it's the greatest movie ever made, then you should definitely give this show a watch. I showed The Godfather to my parents. I had to have them watch it. That was the first time watching it? That was the first time we watched it in Spanish, Unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to understand the English, but I'd say it doesn't capture the essence of what The Godfather is fully, but, I mean, they love the movie. Yeah. And I'm interested to see if The Offer is in Spanish, so they can watch that too, because that would be cool.
At most, they should at least have subtitles.
Like a subtitle, right? Yeah. But yeah, the scene that I'm referring to is the one with the cat. Where the cat wasn't even, like, supposed to be there, but it's like, it's so iconic. It's like, it reminds me of Giovanni and Persian, right? And maybe that's where they got the inspiration.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just Giovanni there chilling, petting Persian, and there it is, Don Corleone. What is it? What do you want? You come to me now.
The day of my daughter's wedding.
The day of my daughter's wedding. Come to me, but you don't come to me before. Oh my God, dude, that's like a savage move right there, brothers. I've done that to people. Like, oh, now you come to me. That's
that's the and then that's the crazy thing, right? You think about that. There was a random cat on set. Marlon Brando, the Godfather, picks it up, and they hit recording. He doesn't put the cat down,
and it loves him.
And
it was like a stray cat, right?
It was a stray cat.
Yeah, it was like
he's picked it up, and they're like, and in the show, and I'm assuming that it's mostly real and how it actually played out. But it was messing with the sound. All the sound tech guys, all they could hear was purring. You couldn't really even hear Marlon's lines. And like you were saying, how many movies after the fact had the big boss villain or Godfather type person hold a cat afterwards? You think of like, Inspector Gadget. What was that guy's name? Dr. Doom or something? He's got a cat. His name, yeah. And Giovanni and Mr. Bigglesworth, and like, it just became like a thing. The big bad guy has a cat. It's just
the juxtaposition, right? It's of the big evil guy, but
with his little vulnerable cat. Yeah, it shows the soft side. And it's because of a random cat that changed, like cinema from forever.
This is cinema.
Yeah, isn't it? That's a really good point. That's a great thing you brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a line. I didn't even know it was a line. I thought it was just a meme.
What, this is cinema?
Yeah, because who started that?
I don't know this one. No, I don't know.
So, like...
is that a meme?
It is a meme. It's, it kind of... It's tied into... I'll circle it back, but...
The show should be called Circle Back.
Circle Back. Hey, the attic has got to go.
Or the Segway.
Hey, throw all this stuff down, right? Come right back for it. No, Guillermo del Toro, right? The director of Pinocchio. We watched it. But you know how they caught a lot of flack about animation not being cinema. And one of his quotes that I remember was him saying, like, no, this is cinema. This is movies. But in Mario, Luigi said it, like, after the commercial in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, did he really?
He's like, this is cinema.
Oh.
So I'm pretty sure, because I watched it twice now, and I'm like, oh, is that what it is? Is it because it's an animated movie? And now it's funny because it's breaking all these records. So, like, now they're really, like, playing that. And I'm curious is if they, like, were so confident that this was going to do this well. Mm-hmm. And they put that line in the movie to then later on use it as like promotional pieces and like create its own little buzz on social media.
I mean, the thing with Guillermo happened 6 months ago.
No, this has been an ongoing thing. Like, he's been defending animated films even before he dived into.
So yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, like he's been saying, like, and he uses words we cannot use on this podcast, like. This man defends his animators like nothing, like they mean the world to him. And I agree, man. I mean, I've seen you animate some stuff, and I mean, there's stuff on this channel that people probably think are like directly from the game, like screen captured. Thanks. But it's like, nah, that's animation. Animation is cinema, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So,
yeah, talking about Guillermo del Toro, he's a big Disney guy like myself and you, but his house is almost looks like the Haunted Mansion. Oh, it's dope. Really cool. He's a big Haunted Mansion fan, and I don't know if you saw the trailer or anything, but there's a new Haunted Mansion movie coming out.
I know there's a new movie. I have not seen the trailer. I've been like, you know me. I've been staying away from trailers. Like,
yeah, well, good for you, because they give away a lot of stuff. But it didn't really tell too much. But I'm a little mixed because I don't, I've gone back. I revisited the old from 2004 maybe, the Eddie Murphy one. Did you ever see that?
No.
Oh, it's okay. It's good. It's honestly, I think, more faithful to the ride than I think people give it credit for. It's not a perfect film by any means, but it's Eddie Murphy in the Haunted Mansion. And you've been on the ride several times.
Yeah.
But Guillermo del Toro at one point was going to make a film for the Haunted Mansion. Like, he was going to make a Haunted Mansion movie with Disney. And they were in development for some time. And then at some point, I don't know if it was contract disputes or creative differences or scheduling differences, it just didn't happen.
Got scrapped, huh?
It did get scrapped, which
I don't know,
maybe a scrapped episode.
Maybe that's an episode right there.
Yeah, it might be. You never know. But yeah, so I was really bummed to hear that he didn't get a chance to tell his story, considering the fact that he was such a big fan. And I don't know off the top of my head who's directing this new one. And it looks good. There's a lot of good actors, but I would have loved to have seen a Guillermo version of what this is. And what's cool about him, and then I'll let you say what you have to say.
You're good, man. You're good. I'm listening.
They're
listening too, man.
One thing I do love, he when he was making the movie, he was getting like all the back tour stuff for the Haunted Mansion. He was seeing all the inner workings, and he was like, "Oh, I feel like I was a kid in the candy store." But apparently, he hit a coin somewhere on the ride. Nobody knows. He didn't tell anybody, and he's like, "There's no way anybody will ever find it."
Well, I mean,
I think that's kind of cool.
I think that's cool, but I mean, he probably has a point because who else is gonna get to the back lot of Disney?
Oh, well, you should be surprised.
Yeah?
They you've gone during Halloween and Christmas, right? Like during that time of year, they almost gut out the entire Haunted Mansion and they redecorated.
I don't think I have, bro. I don't think I have.
Okay, so
have
I wonder who knows.
I don't know.
Maybe not. We'll make
this
the
year.
trip. But what they do in starting in Halloween all the way through Christmas, it's like a different ride. So it's still the Haunted Mansion, it's still the same track, but it's taken over by Nightmare Before Christmas, the Tim Burton film.
Okay.
And they call it. It has like a different name. I don't remember it at the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, and every year they add a little bit more. Like they have this, the big ballroom scene.
Yeah.
Every year it's a different, huge gingerbread house. It's really cool. And, it's really cool. The ride changes. Like it transforms, and it feels like a completely different experience.
That's so dope, dude.
Yeah.
Like just being out here. Those are the kind of things that like I gotta experience yet. There's all because I know like you've told me that like for Christmas they change it up too, right? And it looks like all like Christmassy and whatnot, and
the Halloweens, they go big on Halloween too.
Halloween. Does Universal do anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the Horror Nights. This past year,
dude.
First time.
I missed it, right? I missed it last year.
You did, but we can go this year. You got to pass this year.
Yeah, we got to go.
And with your pass, I believe
if it's not even in there,
free ticket. But
we're
dude,
going.
So they had, they have different like mazes, So they had like classic monsters. They had a whole section for Nope. And all the different Jordan Peele movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, it was so cool.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be running in there like the dude from Get Out. Just
they had references to Get Out, and the other one was called Us. What was
yeah,
Us, Get Out, and Nope.
Yeah,
they referenced all of it. They had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing, but every year is different. So this year, the overarching theme was The Weeknd, the singer. There was like a lounge bar. There was like the Weeknd's lounge.
His last album was kind of like horror-y, right? Like
So his last
like he was wearing that red jacket.
That was the one before.
Oh, it was one before. Oh, okay.
And that was this last album was called Dawn FM. And it was almost like an allegory for purgatory. I'm a big Weeknd fan. So like the idea is it starts off like you're listening the whole time. The whole radio album is like a radio. Like you're listening to
like stations.
And the DJ or the radio host is like a disembodied voice who I didn't know the first time I listened through it, but it's Jim Carrey.
Dude, that's dope.
Which is really cool. And the idea of the way that Abel or The Weeknd described it is,
That's okay, bro. Just let everyone know. You know I'm on a first name basis, bro.
No,
let
them
know.
I wish. No, I did go to his concert. You're like in LA traffic at night, in the middle of the night. You're stuck in the tunnel, and like you see the light at the end of the tunnel, but like you can't get through. And it's kind of like you're in this purgatory, and there.
I love albums like that, man.
Dude, it's so cool.
Like albums used to be albums,
Well, I would say this is definitely like that.
There's still artists clearly that do stuff like that, but man, I'm a huge music guy, And back in the day, I used to buy cassettes. I used to buy CDs, And like it's kind of like in video games when you used to get your video game, you get your little pamphlet. The guidebook was amazing. Like it had little stories.
Yeah.
You know, it was awesome. Like that's what's missing nowadays. But albums used to have a beginning and an end. There was no like emphasis on trying to get the most views and the most replay. Like now songs are like 2-3 minutes long. Why? Because people have such short attention spans, and you know, they just gets the views up. They just cheat the algorithm they don't even make music to make music anymore. It's just to make money, sadly. You know, but there still are artists out there that, you know, put in the time and effort. I'm just because you mentioned that, I'm gonna give that album a listen.
It's really good. I mean, there are some songs in there that are like, you know, definitely some of my favorites. I will say that I think his last album was my last
least favorite.
No, we're a little bit better.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I think there's just some sleeper hits on that.
My
but
brother loves The Weeknd, bro.
Yeah,
that's why I love when my brother picks me up from the airport and takes me to the airport. Yeah. Man, he's just blasting The Weeknd. We're cruising down because I take the red eye flights. That's what they're called, right? Mm-hmm. So I get there late and I leave early. So when my brother picks me up, it's just like night cruises. Sometimes we don't even talk.
Yep.
You know, we just put in the. And that's how I am when I drive. If I'm playing tunes, don't talk to me.
Yep.
Don't even, you know, I'm focused. I'm one with the road, one with the universe. So he always blasts The Weeknd. And that's kind of how I don't really listen to him on my own. It's thanks to my brother.
Late night city driving, or just like you get on the expressway, especially out here in Los Angeles, you know, and it's like, it's a vibe. It really is. Vibe, I know that word's used so often, excuse me, but, you know, the windows slightly down, chill night, you're blasting the music, not blasting, just enjoying it.
I gotta get me a convertible out here, man. I feel like I do. Summer nights,
hey, you
just sitting around, and when the sun goes down,
give me a saw and I can make your car a convertible if you want me to.
You'd be doing me a favor, bro. Poor thing's on his last legs. It's like, you know, horses usually go. This one's like.
this one's like with a question mark. Nay. Let me ask you this. We can move on if you want. Mm-hmm. Can we talk about your car story on your last birthday?
My car's story on my last birthday. Bro, when was my last birthday? Like 2
March
months
16th
ago?
last year.
Okay, so
what happened to your car on your birthday? Is what I wanted to say.
Oh,
you comfortable talking about that story?
Yeah.
Because that's a sad story.
I mean, we can talk about it. You know, I think I've talked about it before, like on the stream and stuff. But yeah, dang.
So context.
I almost thought it happened recently, actually. So it's
time's
funny.
Flying.
No, like so just a couple weeks ago, actually.
Like again?
Yeah. So I'll tell you what happened. So just a couple, like last week, you know, I go out to get something for my car because I had some keys in the glove compartment, whatnot, and I go out and I use my little remote, and the doors aren't unlocking.
Uh-oh.
Same thing that happened with the story that I'm gonna get to. I go up, I unlock it with the regular key because, you know, I don't got a Tesla. I still got an actual key. I turn it, my door opens, boom. I hit the buttons to unlock and lock. Nothing. Again, another trigger. I'm like, nah, don't tell me. Mm-mm. So I with the people I'm with, I'm like, they jacked my battery again. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, what? You know? Now, luckily, it was just, I left the lights on. That was the first time I've ever let the lights on in my car. Ever. I've never, ever done that.
So did you get your car jumped?
Yeah, so my car got jumped. But on my birthday a year ago, same thing happened.
I was going to meet you after your work,
yes.
and I was going to treat you to some sushi.
Yes. So Chris, he was going to pick me up, and I got out work, and same thing. I went to my car. I try to unlock it.
Yeah.
It doesn't unlock. I open it up. The buttons don't work. So I'm thinking I left my charger on. The battery's dead.
Simple mistake.
Yeah. Let me pop the hood. I'm about to get it ready to get jumped. But little did I know, I got jacked. Bro, I popped the dude, and I could not believe what I saw, bro. They jacked my battery, bro. Like, what? Who does that, bro? Like, so yeah, bro, my battery's missing, and this is on my birthday. I was happy as a mug, bro. I come out, I have balloons in my hand, I have presents in the other hand. I'm about to go get some sushi. Man,
life is good.
Life is good, and then I see this, dude, my heart sank because like I was already in a hole, you know, and then I'm like, yo, Chris, I call you up. You're like, you're not gonna believe, because you were like, oh, I'm almost there or something like that.
Well, we were supposed to meet at a different sushi
exactly.
place.
We were gonna meet somewhere
At a further
and I was
sushi
like,
place.
you're like, oh, I'm almost pulling up. And I was like, bro, you're not gonna believe what just happened. And I told you the whole story, and you were like, what? And I mean, you know, thank you for. We went to go buy a battery.
We got a battery, yeah.
Put it in my car, and
we got sushi eventually.
And we got sushi
in a random closer place.
Though.
It was good, and
it was really good.
I haven't been there back since.
Yeah,
but I've been thinking about.
We gotta go back eventually.
Yeah, it was good.
Because I remember we took pictures and we're like, man, this is gonna be a story we tell forever.
Yeah.
You know? And now it'll be
a
story here forever.
Yeah.
You know, as long as YouTube leaves this up. So it better get a bunch of views and likes. You guys better drop a comment or something. Because Twitter's removing blank accounts now. If you're a dead account, you're getting deleted. So who knows? What if YouTube starts deleting underperforming videos? You never know. Go watch all our stuff right now. Keep us alive. I'm broke. I'm broke, man.
You gave me a heart attack one other time. So, you know, like tonight, there are times where Christian will come over and, you know, we're either playing Halo or we're cooking up a storm. That's usually what we do. We talk, we kick back, we're creating content, we watch a good movie, or we eat way too much food.
Yes.
That's our jam. And we were having a great night. I remember we had a blast. And you know, whenever he calls me, we have our little inside jokes and stuff. And I always tell him to text me when he gets home after a late night because I want to make sure he gets home safe.
Oh, I know where you're going.
So we're done hanging out. He gets home and he gives me a call, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. He's giving me a call. And I think I picked up and I said something stupid like, "Yo, bro, you miss me?"
Yeah, you said
something stupid.
Yeah.
And it's just silent. And I was like, "Hey, are you there?" And then all he whispered was, "Bro, I've been robbed." And I didn't know what to say. And
I didn't know
this
what
was
to
shortly,
feel, dude.
Yeah, and someone broke through your window and took a couple things.
I felt violated, dude. I've never felt like that in my life. I remember, like, I was in shock. Like, I don't know if, like, I wanted to cry. I don't know if I must have called you first.
Yeah.
But then I called my mom. And, like, you know.
Which it would have been very late.
Yeah, it was. But, man, your mom, you know, shout out to my mom. You know, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But your mom, you know, if you guys still have them, if you still have your mom in your life, hug them, tell them you love them, because you never know when they're going to go. But they'll always be there for you, bro. Your mom will always be there for you. So she picked up, and I was like, I told her the same thing. I can't believe it. I got robbed. I called all you guys before I called the cops. Because I'm like, what the cops going to do, man? Are they going to go find the guy that took this stuff? But yeah, they took my Switch. So now I can't even play Tears of the Kingdom. Like,
that's right.
I still don't have a Switch. I was just about to beat Breath of the Wild. Like, well, I wasn't going to beat it. Who am I kidding? I never even got off the plateau. But
Really?
No, I got off the plateau. But I couldn't beat a Guardian, and I just gave up. But, and for other reasons, I chose not to play Breath of the Wild. But I do want to beat it. I do want to play it. You know, I have access to Tears of the Kingdom if I want to. And but yeah, it was crazy because my Switch was just chilling. Like, I wasn't even using it, and maybe like a day or two before I got robbed, I decided to set it up in the living room, and I had just downloaded the NES SNES pack, and I was playing old games. You know, I was finally like getting in the zone of gaming it in the living room.
Yeah.
And then like a day or two later, that happened. So I was like, nah. They took that and a box that had a bunch of my like receipts,
documents and stuff. Right?
I had some very important documents in there. I had my receipts. I used to collect. I still do. I started a new collection, but I collected all my gas receipts, all my mechanical records of anything that I've ever done to my car. I wanted to keep it and document everything, because that car has been with me. We've been through war. We've done all kinds of stuff in that car, and I wanted to keep all that. So they probably thought it was gold jewelry or something because it wasn't an old jewelry box. But nah, man, they took that from me. Like, those are just memories that I'll never be able to get back. But the more important thing they took, the only reason they went into my apartment was because I had Amazon packages outside, and there was a bunch of books that I had just ordered. And luckily, Amazon refunded and sent me new books and stuff. And I always said, I hope that the person that stole my books actually took the time to read them. And I hope that it changed their way of being, because there was like self-help books and stuff like that. So hopefully they at least read one of them, and maybe all things happen for a reason, and he or she learned a lesson. I could only hope. I can only hope for the best, but like I said,
I have to say,
I'm happy.
That surprised me, because you told me that way back then when this happened, that you hope they read those books. And not many people think that way. Not many people have the silver lining or see the glass half full. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was it was so refreshing to hear, because I think you had every right to feel mad, upset, even vengeful, or to double down and, put iron fence around your apartment or what have you. But no, you saw the positive, and you're like, I hope those books help that person. I think that's really cool of you.
Man. I mean, at the end of the day, I was grateful because I had a lot more valuable things that could have been taken. I mean, one that would have really hurt me is a small little gold like bracelet that I have that my mom gave me for one of my birthdays. It was just chilling on my desk. Like, had they stole that, like, yeah, it's gold. It's maybe like 14 karat. It's really light. Probably imitation, who knows? But my mom gave it to me, and that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So had they taken that, they maybe would have got like $50, $20, but it would have killed me.
Yeah.
They didn't take that. Great. I had, obviously, like, my computers that I depend on for work, for my hobbies, for everything else, all the memories I have. They could have taken that. They could have busted it open. They didn't take that. I think I had like my Xbox 2, my Wii U, and they could have taken so much more. But what they did take, I could live without. Technically, wasn't even mine anymore. And there's, there's a whole story about that,
Yep.
And so at the end of the day, I was like, hey, that Switch was never mine in the first place. And whoever it did belong to asked for it back. And I was like, hey, you know what? You're not going to believe me, but I got robbed, and it's
funny?
gone.
You know what's funny? What if it was that person that stole it? You might have your first suspect.
There we go. So, I mean, they took something that technically wasn't mine. Yeah, I lost the receipts and, some documents, but I got the documents back. I have restarted my receipt collection.
Good.
I still don't have a Switch, but, I got an Xbox Series X, so
Gotta wait for that next Switch, right?
Yeah, man.
So they recently had some quarterly meeting, and they said that sales for the Switch are slowing down. I think the life cycle of this system is slowly coming to an end. So that means the next generation of whatever this thing is going to be is going to come out. I'm so curious what this next move is going to be, because let me just say this: the Wii was big success for Nintendo, and I think they were afraid to jump to the next console because the Wii was so powerful. It was a household name reaching markets that have never reached households before, right? Grandparents were playing it.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. So I think they were a little scared to change up the branding, and they called it a Wii U. And by doing that, completely destroyed any kind of growth that system could have had. Now, Wii U, while that was maybe a misstep, great console, but a misstep marketing-wise, timing, everything. The Switch, however, very similar to the Wii, and then some, right? Household item. People are playing it, that you would never think were playing games. It's so accessible. It changed the game, just like the Wii did at the time with motion controls. The fact that you could take this console on the go. I'm so curious to see what this next console is going to be. What's I don't want to say the gimmick, but like what's going to be the thing that makes this like very like a newer, unique experience. But at the same time, are they willing to drop the Switch name? Are they going to learn from their mistakes? Or are they going to just fall back into the, are they going to call it something Switch? Or are they going to make it a completely new thing so that there is a definitive, this is not, a little upgrade, like a what's the OLED one that came out?
Yeah, the OLED.
And there's like a light version too, right?
The light one, yep.
Which I always thought they should have called it the light switch.
Oh, it's easy money right there, right? They didn't do it.
It's
Switch Lite.
The Switch Lite.
Yeah,
whatever.
It makes sense.
The light switch.
I don't know, man. I the thing is like they're in too deep. Because if you think about it, the Switch is like self-cannibalized its own market with the DS.
Yeah.
Because the DS is gone, right?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. So you took your home console and your portable console. Your home console killed your portable console because it became one.
Right.
So now you're kind of like forced to keep going this way.
Right.
Like, I don't see them ditching the concept of a console that lets you play at home and go home.
You're right.
And go out. I just don't. I just don't see them being able to do that right now. And if you look at someone like PlayStation and Microsoft with Xbox, they have just done incremental upgrades to their systems. Better graphics, better processor, whatever. Like, they didn't completely change their formula. But Nintendo has always, for whatever reason, they're the company that just always decides to switch things up. Pun not intended. But I feel like this is the time where they gotta learn, because I personally think it'd be a horrible decision to say, hey, it's a brand new console, brand new idea, brand new gimmick, and now you gotta purchase this. If I were them, I would keep the Switch name, do what they should have done with the Wii U. I think they should have called it like the Super Wii. You already have that branding with your Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I think it'd be cool to go like Switch, Super Switch.
Do you remember we were on our way to E3 all talking in the car, and we're trying to speculate. This was the day before they announced the Wii U. We knew a console was going to be announced. We didn't know the name. And you and I were like really adamant that they should call it the Super Nintendo Wii.
Right. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I think the Wii U is a great console. It had great games, had amazing stuff. It was just marketing.
What if they call it the Super Nintendo Switch?
I think they should.
That'd be really cool.
I think they should, and they should really look to beef it up. I think it's sad, really, that we're huge Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
It's so sad that we can't have a Nintendo console that has these high specs that like even these third-party publishers can create content for the game. Why can't we have 4K? Why can't we have 60, 120 frames per second?
Right.
Why not? Like, Nintendo has all the money in the world. I think Nintendo fans deserve that. I still want, like, I know Tears of the Kingdom is coming out and we're light years away from a new Zelda game, but I still dream of the day we have like an ultra realistic Legend of Zelda game. I still want that. Just imagine like getting a new Mario game again. Like, maybe Mario doesn't have to be super realistic, but there's so many games that can come out, especially with like shooters, let's say like Call of Duty. I mean, it's huge. It's super successful.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the launch titles on the Wii. Honestly,
I had it. It was Call of Duty 3.
Yeah. And Nintendo doesn't need that, but why not?
Yeah.
Why not have give people the opportunity to do that? It's all going to depend on marketing. I think if they don't get this name right, no matter what comes out, they have to nail that.
Let me ask you this: do you think they're going to go fully digital and abandon the idea of physical copy games?
That's a good question. Shoot.
Or have a version, because Xbox does that, right? Where there's a disc version and a non-disc version.
Yeah. Considering what comes in the box these days for the Switches,
nothing, right?
Nothing. I mean, it's so much plastic for the little cartridge that comes in, and some don't even come with a booklet anymore.
I think most of them don't come with booklets.
Yeah, what I've seen recently is they come with, the sleeve of the art, and on the back of that, it'll have some information,
which is cool. Yeah,
but it's literally a waste. You're wasting so much money on labor, production.
Well, the thing is, if you want we take for granted, right? Like you were saying earlier, back in the day, it came with booklets and sometimes additional discs and all this. That just was with every game. Guaranteed. That's what you got for your $40, $60, whatever you paid. Now, if you want that, you have to pay the premium for the ultimate collector's gift box that comes out for $90-something.
Right.
So, it also comes with a little statue, which is great.
Oh,
One of my favorite things I still to this day love is the Halo 3 helmet that I got.
Oh man, Halo used to do it right.
I remember when we Reach, you got the statues.
Oh my god, yeah. I said I was gonna bring that, but
I'm surprised you have. I'm surprised
I
don't have the helmet. It's in the attic.
It's in the attic.
I'm surprised I haven't brought the helmet yet. You look around look around my place. I got Star Wars.
You have a lot of helmets.
I have 3 Darth Vader helmets, 1 Boba Fett. I have a Clone Trooper, Phase 2. Mm-hmm. I have Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and I got Bo-Katan.
Is that Dijon mustard over there?
I like.
You need some chief in here, man.
But I have the chief helmet. I just don't have it.
I know. I mean, you need to be the catalyst that creates, that creates Star Wars X Halo. You have to be the reason that happens.
We all want.
We have to be the reason that ChrisCross happens. I've been fighting for it, man. I'm on Twitter every day, just pushing people. Hey, Bungie, Bungie, do it.
I think it's a creative decision. I don't think they want to do that. I think they want to keep the Halo universe within the Halo universe. I don't think, like Master Chief's popped up elsewhere in some other titles, but for instance, back on May 4th, they showed Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker, and Natalie Portman, and I want to say General Grievous. Darth Maul. I think it was. They're gonna be in Fortnite.
Yeah, they're in Fortnite.
Yeah,
everything.
And it's
Fortnite.
That's what I'm saying. I think they built that game, opening the doors for that kind of IP crossover. I think Halo in a heartbeat could do some sort of crossover because it's a large title. It's Microsoft's baby, but I think creatively they don't want to.
I think it's dumb. I think they could. I think there's a whole fan base. There's clearly crossover. I mean, there was Star Wars Battlefront, which was a huge game. There's clearly fans of Star Wars that like shooters. I mean, we can go on, and that could be its own podcast topic. But I want something to happen. Someone on Twitter brought up that why don't they just cross over with their own IP at least? And I was like, yeah. A lot of people don't know, but in Gears of War 5, they actually had a couple Spartans, I believe, that you can play as in Gears of War. So Halo was in Gears of War. So some people are like, well, why don't they bring a Gears of War character or something into Halo? Mm-hmm. Why not? It would be a perfect way. I think Gears of War 6 is coming out maybe next year or the year after that. Just how Smash Brothers adds characters in to promote their own games. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't Microsoft do that? Why? I just don't see why. And I hope they at least put that in there. I mean, Microsoft has all these acquisitions that they're getting.
Yeah.
Why can't they? I mean, the Doom guy is in Fortnite. Why can't Doom guy be in Halo? Halo was inspired by Doom. And there's just so many missed opportunities.
Do you remember when Halo 1 came out? This is way before you and I even met each other. People were shipping Samus and Master Chief, like hardcore.
Yeah,
shipping
that
them.
too.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Master Chief in the newest Smash or something like that? I was really upset that he was not.
Smash Ultimate. I mean, every character almost that I've ever wanted was in that game, except for Master Chief. That was the one thing. I know there's mods and there's ways to get Master Chief in the game, but I wanted that official Sakurai announcement. Chief's in the game.
Oh, what's that?
Oh,
dang, man. Time does fly. That's a little samba right there. All right, Donkey Kong. I'll be right.
Is that Donkey Kong?
I'll be right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I call her.
You know what, Christian?
Yes, sir.
I think it's time to leave the attic, man.
I think it's time. We gotta go downstairs.
I think we gotta save the rest of this for the next episode.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't even get to tell you what I wanted to tell you. I'm not even gonna tell you.
You teased me before we started recording. I know. And you're not gonna tell me?
No, I'm not. It'll be for the next one.
You're awful.
Hey, they gotta come back for something. Come back for seconds.